Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Rusty Beauty's Garage, in which we restore trials, and we have this GT6 behind me, which unfortunately it's not gonna be the subject of this video. So as you may remember, I'm not gonna tell you the whole story of the car, but I'm gonna tell you that my idea was that this year in September, late September, there's a car show in Toronto called British Car Day, and I wanted to take this car to British Car Day. And after that, a week later maybe, there's another event happening in the States, which is event of the Six Packs Car Club, and it's called Trials. So I wanted to take the GT6 to the Trials as well. So I was gonna work on it every Thursday. Unfortunately, because of cars like this and of transmissions like this, engines like this, which are customers, which is a good problem to have, but unfortunately it's preventing me to work on my own car. I'm working on customers' cars all the time. So I don't want to stretch it too much. Long story short, that's not happening. I can't finish it in that short time. I have to paint it, still haven't started the engine. I rebuilt it, but it still haven't started. So I need to do a little bit more work on the front suspension, a little bit more work on the rear suspension, put the body on the frame, and then work on the interior. So I don't have that time. If I was only working on this car, it was gonna happen. But unfortunately, it's not gonna happen. So I started thinking, I already booked, actually David booked it for me at the hotel for the six-pack event. I will go one way or another, with or without a car, but I'm thinking, why can't I go with a car? What other cars do I have? So with David, as known as Cheftush, we had another idea. Why don't I just take my TR6, my TR6 72 TR6, why don't I just literally slap it together for that trip? I mean, put the fenders on, don't care about the rust anywhere, just make it safe, of course, and fix brakes, fix engine, fix here and there. The interior is in a pretty good shape, and just take it for that trip. And then later, when I have time, take it apart again and fix all the rust. Well, we looked at it, and unfortunately it's too far gone. I mean, I can't make that safe enough. I need to replace the seals. I do have the seals, but I can't just slap them on top of rust, right? I need to fix the rust underneath, and then it becomes a total restoration, which I wasn't looking to have something like that. I was just looking to work on brakes, maybe clutch, and a little bit of engine work, just to make it safe. But unfortunately, that's not the car. I even looked at the TR6 that I could buy for $1,000. Again, very rusty one. That could have worked. I don't care about the rust, like I said. I'm just gonna linseed oil it and just drive it as a rusty beauty, Rusted bonnet, rusted doors. I don't care about that. But like I said, this is not the car. However, David has an idea, and he's gonna tell us more about it.
All right, so next idea now is that we're gonna give you a TR4 to drive.
Isn't that the six-pack club where they have only...
They have another British category, so you can, take a TR4. So
Okay.
I brought a TR4 for you.
Oh, you brought a TR4?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe you can drive that.
Wow, that looks great.
No,
Really?
No, not that one. Not that one.
Oh, which one?
That one.
Oh, that one?
That one.
Is that even a car?
Yeah. It's a rusty beauty. You said.
Oh, wow.
I mean, this has got a little patina.
Wow, that's perfect
To it.
for Rusty Beauty.
Yeah, you can have that for a snack.
Okay.
So, anyway, I think this would be perfect for your trip to the trials.
I forgot about your 62 TR4.
Needs a little work.
Okay.
It's complete.
No.
Floors are in good shape. Sills are in good shape. It's got a little. Don't mind those few little animal bits and bobs. And
So you're gonna clean them for me?
Yeah, I can get the stuff back out. So
It even has a
look
top.
at that door shut. It's perfect.
Yeah. Look at that.
Now, I might be missing a few things in here, like a radiator hose and maybe some, pivot pins or clevis pins for the, maybe some push rods for the clutch and brake master cylinders. But, that's minor. Oh, maybe a dash pot top and probably fix this and a few other things, but it's all there.
Okay, we would start.
Don't think so. But we
So
can fix that.
you're telling me that I can take this to the trials as long as I make it drivable and safe?
I think so.
Okay,
I think it'll make it.
sounds like a plan. Wow, I'm actually really excited. Look at that, it's such a rusty beauty.
Hey,
It's a great idea.
don't
Okay, I have a piece for here. I can
put that back there.
put this here.
Perfect.
It's gonna fit some. Oops.
Little glue.
Yeah.
Little glue. And it's good.
Okay, seriously, it sounds like a good idea. We're gonna drive a car to the trials, and it's gonna be a rusty beauty. We're just gonna buff it a little bit. Yeah, just gonna buff it a little bit, and wherever there's rust, we can, or actually the entire car, we can linseed oil.
Now, the funny thing is, they probably think we're joking.
Do we look like we're joking?
We're very serious.
Nope. This car is going to the trials this year
Well, we don't know that for sure yet. So, why did we bring it in here?
because we want to check the frame in the first place.
We're going to check the frame and see if that's solid enough that we want to make the investment in time and money, of course, to make this roadworthy to get it to the trials and back. So that's what we've got the car in the garage to do at the moment. So this was a plan that was hatched about an hour ago.
Yep.
But as Elin had mentioned, he'd been looking at some other options to get a car down or to drive a car down to the trials. So this might be the best option that we have. It'll be a collaborative effort, of course, with me helping as much as I can on the project, with Elin doing most of the labor. But of course, from a financial perspective, it'll be me purchasing the parts for the car.
Yeah, you're gonna buy the parts. I'm gonna invest my time.
Yeah.
And
But anyway, first things first, we need to get this car up on jack stands and check the frame, because I've never had it up on stands yet. We don't know what the frame looks like. We're pretty sure that it's a solid frame. It's not an independent rear suspension, it's a solid axle car. So that should help out a little bit as far as the frame is concerned. But first thing first, we'll get it up on jack stands and we'll take some video underneath and see what it looks like.
Yep.
And go from there.
Next is the engine. We're gonna see when, maybe not today, but one day we're gonna see if the engine is gonna turn over. Maybe we can try and start it.
The engine is a bit of an unknown, as I'd mentioned to Elin, that from the previous owner who I bought this car from, he said it was a bit smoky. It sounds like it might have needed to be rebuilt. So I'm not sure if this will make the trip in this condition. It might be something we want to take a quick look at and do a quick maybe ring job or something like that on it. But anyway, that is probably the biggest chunk of work. The intent is really to keep the body as it is, just make it safe. You know, obviously all the hydraulics working, clutch, brakes working, obviously new tires, that kind of thing. Check the suspension bushings. So we're going to have a quick look around and see what needs to be done on it to make sure it's safe to drive. And then we may fix a few things that just to make it look. We were talking about the dash, for example. All the dash gauges are there, although I'd probably like to maybe just strip that dash out, and that could be a project that I take home and clean up in my spare time. So yeah, I do have, we should mention that currently it's got a 4-speed transmission in there, but it actually is a factory overdrive car, and I just so happen to have a factory overdrive for this car. So that could be swapped out pretty quickly, especially if we're going to be pulling the engine out anyway. We can definitely swap an overdrive trans in, which would be better for the trip on the highway.
Absolutely, we can do that. Do some interior, like really maybe just put a carpet together for it. We can sew it ourselves.
I've got the TR250 seats that could fit into this car easily, the low back TR250 seats, which are actually, I believe, TR4 seats. They don't actually match. Oh, actually they do. They're actually black seats, so I thought this actually had a red interior, but actually they're black with white piping, so even the seats would match the interior.
Perfect. And the top is not in a bad shape. Look at the glass. It's like not yellowed at all. And I'm
The
pretty
windows are
sure.
very clear. Elin thinks this will clean up, but again, we're getting way ahead of ourselves.
Okay.
We're getting overly excited.
All right,
So
let's
first
get
things
crack-a-lacking.
Let's get crack-a-lacking. Let's get the car up in the air, and let's check the frame out.
Perfect.
The next video, we might be totally depressed
Yeah.
and say it's not going to make it. But let's see. Let's see.
All right. While I'm putting it on jack stands, David decided to take a nap under it.
First time I've seen under here.
Okay, let's go underneath.
Actually, it looks pretty good here. I see a little bit of a, right there, a little bit of a separation there, just behind your jack stand.
Oh, the frame.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Is there no hole there, is there?
I don't know. Here there is a hole. Not really. It's just
Surface.
surface. I don't know. Well, this can be patched.
Yeah. The rest,
Oh,
this looks
this-
pretty solid this side.
There's rubber here with wire.
Yeah, so that's for the buffers for the axle.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's the bump stop. So there are two rubber bits that are wired on either side.
Oh. Okay, I haven't seen that before. Okay.
So it's got lever shocks on it. So looks like it might need some axle seals maybe. Looks like the brake, that looks very cool. See that yellow cat on there? It looks like the brake or the wheel cylinders might be new.
Yeah, the bleeder is new for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
That looks a little wet though. So it might need new seals, axle seals.
Yeah. Well,
Turns.
it turns nicely actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's actually a brown drip here, so that's diff oil. Yeah, definitely a diff oil.
So it's going to need axle seals for sure.
Okay.
Which is not a big deal.
Yeah, we can change the front seal on the diff. We can change the gasket.
Look at the exhaust as we were mentioning. It's a brand new, looks like a brand new Falcon.
Oh, yeah.
Stainless steel. Can you get a shot on that tab there? See what that say Falcon?
I can't see it, but we're gonna see on the
Pretty
footage.
sure it's Falcon.
There's something here as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the exhaust is good all the way forward. Even that pipe's good.
Yeah. Wow. Actually, it's stainless all the way to the header.
Now it does look like there's a little bit of rust on the supports for the suspension tower, which looks like it's easily fixable.
The diagonal.
Yeah.
This side is good.
This one's got a little hole in it.
Yeah, that one has a hole. But the frame in general looks great.
Good. The floors are new, as you can probably see.
Yeah.
The center of the frame looks to be in good shape.
Here they jacked it on. Like, how do people do that?
Yeah,
They
the
jack
seals.
it on the seal.
Now you said this
And
one
the
has-
other side
Oh yeah,
as
this
well.
one's got some rust at the front.
That's on the fender. We can make a patch there.
Well, it looks like somebody's already patched on the inside, poorly.
Yeah.
You want to show it? I don't know if you can. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm gonna
So you can see there's quite a bit of rust and damage, but it looks like somebody's actually put a patch on the inside of this fender. So again, we're not trying to make this beautiful. We're just trying to make it safe. So we were just talking about, here's your camera back. We were just talking about, here you go. That's for you.
Another one? Nice.
But the
Yeah.
seals are good.
Even the floor drop is good.
Yeah.
It's just bent here.
Yeah.
We're gonna straighten this out. We can patch this on the outside,
Yeah.
so it
That can be
patch
some,
safe.
short-strand fiberglass if I have to get it through safety.
Brake lines, we might change them all.
Yeah.
This looks surface rust, but you never know with steel brake lines, so we can put aluminum, like
Spring
copper.
bushings look actually pretty good. Those look okay. You would have to oil these springs up. I have no problem getting the.
This side, the bushing is horrible.
Is it?
Yeah. Might need to change them. Yeah. So I'm not concerned about the frame. We're gonna do the little repairs that are needed. And we're gonna have to see what the engine's gonna say.
How does the front suspension bushings look? Have a look.
Okay.
Here's that.
Oh, I have light on the phone. Yeah, the fulcrum bushings are bad.
Okay, well that's a day basically for me to come and help you out do those.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, the front suspension might need total rebuild. Well, actually, looks like the bow joints have been replaced recently, mileage-wise.
Maybe we'll pop the front tires off and have a quick look.
Yeah.
And I'll get some new brake rotors. They're cheap.
Yeah. The rod looks like it hasn't been leaking. For whatever reason, the hose is missing from the top. Anyways, I think it's salvageable. I mean, for what we want, it's salvageable if you want to restore it completely, but for what we want to do with it for now, I think it is pretty good.
We took a quick look at the gas tank, but can't really see too much inside there, so that would be one of the other concerns. Is we might have to pull the tank out, which is no big deal.
Yeah.
To take that out, it's just 6 bolts, and I could take that to get cleaned.
Yeah, but did you notice the float is brand new?
Yeah,
so
the
somebody,
sending unit.
yeah, somebody took care of it, so maybe the tank is good as well. Anyway.
Yeah, the floor drops are good. So and the body mounts are good. I still see all the rubber packing pieces in the frame.
Oh, look, the e-brake cable is still moving.
Yep.
Yeah, nothing seized. Wow, unbelievable. I think that's my driver.
Yeah.
Oops.
Ah, come on, man.
You know, there's a little rust here.
Jeez. Be more careful.
I will. All right, so the front wheels are off, and it looks like it is in a pretty good shape underneath, like the metal work. The suspension needs to be rebuilt, I mean the bushings, because they are all rotten, but it looks like it has new shocks. I think the bow joint on this side is new, maybe the other side is new, but it just sat for a long time and the boot disintegrated. But the bushings need to be replaced everywhere, so the front suspension is going to be rebuilt. I don't know about the hubs. I think the bearings are good. Even the brake pads are new. It just sat for a long time. The frame looks good on this side. Even this member on the other side, though, it has a little bit of rot here at the end, which we can fix. No problem as it is. Yeah, you see this rubber here disintegrated, so that's going to be replaced. So we agreed on that with David. We're going to have to rebuild the front suspension for sure, but the metal is pretty solid, so that's great. Brings us back to the engine, which I'm excited about. We're going to see what we're going to do with the carbs.
Yeah, I think I have another set of SUs. I'm pretty sure I have a couple sets of SUs. So I also have a set of Webers that we just talked about. So I have a set of Webers for TR4 that we could do, but that's probably, I don't think we want to play around with tuning. I think we'll just probably stick with SUs if I can find a good setup. We discovered that the radiator is actually not bolted in, so that'll have to get bolted in. But I think what we're going to probably do is we're probably going to pull the engine out.
Yeah.
And we're probably going to do a quick rebuild, at least rings, and we'll check the bearings while it's out. Maybe not take it out completely apart and take the well, we'll see.
We'll see what we find, because it's not worth, if it needs some work, it's not worth slapping it together for.
But we don't want to get carried away and get into a full restoration of this car. We just want to make it.
Yeah, but the engine, if we take apart, we're gonna do a proper work, right?
Yeah.
Do you even want to try to start it, or you're just gonna go ahead?
I think we just go. It's been sitting for so long. I think we just go ahead and start.
So looking forward to a will it start
You
video.
want to do it while it starts? We can do it. Hear that. I know I have another generator, so If we just stick with the generator, that's fine, because I've got probably 2 generators at home. I'm sure I've got, if this starter doesn't work, I'm sure I've got another starter. I am a bit of a parts hoarder, so I have a lot of parts. I believe the engine I sold to you, I believe that had a set of SUs from a TR4 on it. Again, we were just talking about the carbs on the TR4s, because I believe they switched from different years from Xena Strombergs. They had the short top Xena Strombergs.
Yeah.
And I think some years had the SUs. So I'm not sure where the crossover year was. This is obviously a 62 being early. I would think it probably had the SUs, which were kind of a carryover from the TR3B at that point. So these probably should be SUs on here. So I think I have SUs to go back on this if we can't get these rebuilt. But I think
They don't have much to be rebuilt, you know, because they don't even have the diaphragm.
Yeah.
So as long as the seals on the shaft are, it doesn't even have seals here, right? It has bushings on the SUs. As long
But
as
obviously we're going to change anything that's a safety issue, whether it's fuel lines need to be changed, anything rubber need to be changed, brake lines need to be changed, all the hydraulics need to be changed. I think I'll just go with new brake and clutch master cylinders. We obviously need to make sure things like the wipers work, the lights work, horns work. Anything that's safety related, we actually have to make sure it works. As far as the wiring harness is concerned, it looks fairly complete. It doesn't feel brittle. The colors of the wires are still showing. There's stuff unhooked, but I'm fortunate that I've got an electrical master standing beside me. So
look at that, everything looks new here.
Yeah.
Like it's literally new.
Yeah.
I don't know if the vacuum is gonna work. That's a vacuum advance, so we
have this machine we can hook it up to.
Yeah.
Dr. Octopus, let me call it.
Yeah. The tentacles are here.
Did you show them inside the car?
Yeah, I think we did.
Cool. So, yeah. So he's even gonna have a radio. I don't even have a radio.
Probably doesn't have an FM.
So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull the dash out, and I'm gonna probably refinish the dash.
Okay.
So that'll be a home project for me. So, I don't know where the overdrive switch is on these things. So you've got me.
True.
One will be lights, right? Oh, maybe what's that over there? Anyway, we have to figure these out again. Maybe the overdrive switch was taken out when they took the overdrive out, but it is a factory overdrive car. So.
Well, that's the dash lights.
Look, it's even got is this the windscreen wiper switch? I don't even know. I don't even know what all the switches do. So.
Yeah.
That looks like a light
we have
switch.
a car that we can look at.
Yeah.
My cat is guarding it.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Oh. I guess the choke doesn't work.
Is that the choke?
I think so.
No, the choke is still there. This is the vent or the
no, it's not the flap.
heat valve.
Here's the flap. See if this works.
It's trying to work. No, it's pretty well seized.
I think we need some WD-40.
Well, for this, you might need W60. 40 is not gonna be enough.
Maybe.
Yeah, even has the support there.
Doesn't look like the U-joints are bad. So we might get away with that.
Ooh. So these are the 3 switches that go on this. Over there. So I believe this one, this one, and what else? I don't know. Oh, your starter here. Oh, the ignition switch is like... Okay, it's got it.
So we're gonna have to make a list of things that we need.
Okay, but the first thing is I think the engine, so we can actually make it drivable at some point, because it's gonna take lots of sessions to complete what we want to do. But in the meantime, I'm gonna have to work on these other babies. Where does it go? You have to number it and bag it and catalog it.
We're gonna glue it back on?
Yeah. Well, look at that. We tried a little bit to clean the top. And actually on the camera it shows a little bit dirtier, but look at that, it's like brand new.
You show it compared to this?
Yeah, look at here. Yeah. This might need a little bit of stretching so it can button here.
Well, again, it hasn't been out in the sun for, like if we leave it out in the sun, we could probably get it stretched.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty. But again, the hope is that you won't need to have the top up.
Yeah. On this side is buttoned still, so just that side needs to stretch. I'm getting like really excited. I'm just like Sage now. I'm so excited. Sorry, Sage. All right, so it's official. We gonna do it, right?
Yeah. We're going to make a parts list. We're going to make a plan. I think the first plan is Elin wants to get the car driving. So to get it driving obviously means if we're interested in rebuilding the engine, we're going to probably pull the engine, and while we're doing that, we might as well pull the trans, since we're going to do an overdrive conversion.
Yeah.
Not an overdrive conversion, we're going to put an overdrive back into it.
Yep.
So that's one thing we need to do, probably fairly close to the beginning. The other thing that I want to do is I want to, as a project, a take-home project that I can work on at night while I'm watching a ball game or whatever, is restore the dash. So I think what we'll do today for me is we'll take the gauges out in the dash and the center cluster so I can refinish that. I'm not going to worry about the dash top crash pad because the glass is not cracked, right?
No.
So we don't need to replace the glass. So there's no sense to take the windscreen out. So I think we'll not worry about that.
Yeah.
So I think we'll just take the dash out and I'll repaint that. And the crash pads, actually the lower crash pads look okay.
Yeah.
So that'll be a project for me to do. And then we'll have to concentrate on, after that, I think, on doing things like the suspension bushings.
Yeah.
Front and rear, whatever needs to be done. Obviously plumbing for the radiator, figure out the carburetors, and again I'll go through my parts bins at home and see what I can bring over to help this project along. So obviously we don't have a lot of time, but we do want to make it safe. So I'm going to order things like the hydraulics, so I'm not going to even bother with these. We'll order the hydraulics, we'll order things like new rubber couplings for the steering. I think there's one on this one at the bottom too, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, there is. So I want to make sure all the rubber bits are good. So yeah, I know I have things like at home, as I mentioned, I have a generator, I believe I have a starter, I believe I have a brand new fuel pump, so I do have some stuff in inventory. So we're going to make a list basically of what the plan of action is. Maybe on a piece of paper we'll write down what we plan on doing, and then obviously we're going to have to do a bit of time management between Elin's schedule, my work schedule, and figure out when we can work on it together or independently. Like I said, if I've got something to work on at home, I can work on some stuff at home. It may put my TR3 project on hold for a little bit, but I'm okay with that. I have no timelines as far as my projects are concerned. They get done when they get done. So I think this is a fun project, and I think it's a worthwhile project. And again, I was just talking to Elin about this. Who knows? We may just keep this TR4 in whatever condition we get it to, into a driving safe condition. We may just keep it that way. Not restore it and have a car that has some patina. We've got lots of shiny cars in the fleet, so maybe we don't need one that's so shiny.
Exactly. Okay, so today's plan. Let's vacuum here. First of all, there's some hardware on the floor, so we're gonna pick that up. Then we're gonna vacuum, and we're gonna start taking the dash apart. So we cleaned up inside. Looks pretty good now. We found where the foam was coming from. The mice chewed up the top of this foam.
Bastards.
But we cleaned it up as much as we could. So it looks nice and clean inside now. And we had an idea here. Dave pulled out the spark plugs, and they are all fouled black.
We checked the valve train.
Yeah, and doesn't look too black underneath, which means that there was no so much over, what was it called, like blow-by. But he pulled out the spark plugs and they look fouled from running rich. So the information that he got from the previous owner of this car was that it was smoking. Well, obviously, if it was running rich, it was smoking. So what I think is it possible that it was just running too rich and that's why it was smoking? There's nothing wrong with the engine. We don't know. So we turned it over and that's how it turns. It has all spark plugs in it, so it turns pretty easy for an engine with all the spark plugs in. But we decided just to make a quick compression test.
Yeah, it might be fun.
Yeah, just to see. Like it's turning pretty easy, so might not be high compression, but let's see what it is before we take it apart.
It might be, let's see, it might be 150, 160 across the board.
Well, if it is, then I'm gonna be happy with that. All right, so we installed the battery. Nothing is smoking, we checked. Nothing is smoking, but nothing is working either. So, no headlights at least. No horn. I tried to jump the horn and I blew the fuse. So anyways, I did some sketchy wiring here, and now when we give it its negative ground, it's positive ground, so when we give power or ground, I don't know, I get confused here, but this is what we get. He sprayed WD-40 in the cylinders and now it's all sprayed back at him. Anyways, it's cranking super easy, but now the spark plugs are all out. So let's get the two and measure the compression. All right, let's be for cylinder 1. Should I open the throttle?
Mm-hmm.
How do I do that?
Push it down.
Whoa! Easy to say.
Or pull up on this.
No, actually, it's hitting the hose here. I think it's been open all this time. This is, yeah. Okay. Wow. Look, it's pushing on the hose here.
We'll fix that.
There we go. Okay, let's go. $90. Not really good.
But again, this car has been sitting for a long period of time, so.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to take it apart, but 90. Wow. Even worse. 80.
Yep.
Yeah, possible. The rings are seized, valves are not really.
Yeah, adjusted.
Yeah, has to come apart. Unless you want to put some fuel in it and start it. And it's missing this.
Yep. Dashboard.
Plunger.
Yep. Okay. Oh,
You see?
120.
Yeah. Sure, if we start it and we let it run for a while.
Then I'll come back to 120.
Yeah. Look at that. 153.
Wow, 152.
So, let's think.
Let's go back and do number 1, just for fun, just to make
Okay.
sure that something miraculous hasn't happened with the
Okay.
WD-40 in the cylinders.
So, normally, all the cylinders, like, unless the engine is really warm, but normally all the cylinders are pretty even in compression, right? Within 10%. So, even if the number 4 was the highest one, this means that probably
We
other
only
ones are
need 2
135.
cylinders anyway.
the other ones are somewhere at 135 at least. Which means that it was sitting for too long, and probably these cylinders had either the exhaust valve open or the intake valve open as it was sitting, and now it has some crud there, it's just not sealing properly. Okay. What was the last one? 152. Okay. So I'm pretty sure it's either a seized ring that can come back or a seized valve that can come back.
That's better, isn't it?
120
Yeah,
now.
I told you.
Yeah.
WD-40. Well, not quite 120. Let's try the next one.
I'm sure they're all gonna go back to 150.
Yeah?
I would start this car and drive it.
So he's gone from, in this segment, he'll probably edit it out. He's gone from, yeah, it'll need a total tear apart and rebuild to, it's gonna be fine. We're just gonna drive it. That one didn't really help.
It will move. 92. It was 80, this cylinder. Now it is 92. I'm sure it's gonna come back.
Well, we can run the engine and see if it improves.
Yeah. We can run it even without the dashboard, right?
Well, you don't have any. Yeah.
Don't have any SUs.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, we can do the startup on another day. I can always bring back another pair of SUs to swap in there that are in better shape than those.
You're so patient.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so excited. I'm like, start it now. What time is it?
Well, we got lots of time, but I don't know if it's going to start on those carbs. Well, you could just tape off the top of that. You could seal that.
It doesn't even need to be sealed. It's gonna lose
suck,
vacuum.
Vacuum, yeah.
Yeah, we can seal that.
I don't know. I don't know. Do you want to flip off one of the float bowls and see what it looks like inside before you get too optimistic about the carbs actually doing anything?
Okay. It's actually open from above, right?
Yeah. That's just one screw there in the top.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, apparently it looks like we're going to try to start this car.
We will
Which
start.
I can't believe. Like, this is like 2 hours ago, this was not the plan. So.
We're starting it. We're starting it. Okay, let's get ready for that.
Okay, I gotta put the plugs back in. You want me to clean the plugs up?
All right, so I think that was more than enough for this video. I think I'm actually going to split it in two. We will see. I'm not sure. But I might have something to drive to the trials, and it's going to be a rusty beauty. So once we connected it properly, the spark came. And we also took out the covers from the float bowls, and there was very little sand at the bottom, which we vacuumed. We still haven't pumped any fuel into the carbs. We just tested if the pump worked. It is hooked up to this line here, the hard line. David unhooked the
Fuel pump.
the fuel pump. I have it backwards. Okay, it would help if I...
Sucking, not pumping?
Yep, okay. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching, commenting, subscribing, sharing, and supporting us. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Okay.